Good to go.
So this is, I try to get this in every tour, every public education, anything we do. This room here is our safe room.
Okay.
So if somebody's involved in a domestic violence situation and they need a safe place to go, or they need to drop a baby off, like happened in Tisbury a few years ago, this room is designed for that. So whoever needed to be, if they wanted to drop the baby off, would place the baby and they hit this button, and that button locks down this whole area, sets off the alarm so if the paramedic on duty knows that there's an emergency in the building. And this is also tied directly into the communication center.
Oh, okay.
So they would immediately start talking to you. So if you dropped the baby and left, no big deal, the medic would know and come right away and take care of the baby, which is safe for the baby. Or if you were in some type of scenario where you needed help immediately and you didn't want anybody to be able to get to you, they would drop that, and the police, this also automatically activates the police too, so they would come up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And John, that door is always open?
This door is always open 24/7. These doors are all locked at 4:30, but this door is always open for a safe haven. Yep.
Okay.
It's a work in progress.
Janitor's closet here. This is our secured medical records room. We had to have a secured room for that. It keeps all of our medical records in there. We have to keep them up to 10 years. Everything is logged in there. Only certain people have access to this room. Data collection in there. You saw the meeting room.
That's
where
beautiful meeting room.
Yeah, that's where we hold most of the meetings, department meetings, classes, stuff. Some of the classes go in there. Public bathroom, it's occupied right now, but this area up to this door is public. If we need to, we can seal off the station.
Okay. Yeah,
Never,
something, yeah,
right,
never
if
know.
something happens, they up the alert.
Yeah.
This would sealed off port entry, no public access to that, but the public could still use this portion of their building if they needed to.
Huh, okay. And you could have a public meeting there.
Yep. So this is the EMT day room here.
This is nice.
Yep, very nice. I got these nice chairs on a clearance sale, going out of business, and they did the embroidery and did the patches for us for free.
Wow.
This is nice. Yeah.
These are nice.
Yep. Bunk rooms, identical bunk rooms, one here and one there. This is where we have, the station is manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a
Okay.
week. So this is where the primary crew that stays overnight will sleep downstairs.
Okay.
And the reason we did that was because I'd rather the paramedic get up out of bed and just have to walk to the ambulance because they're still a little sleepy,
Yes.
rather than have to come down 2 flights of stairs in the middle of the night when it's dark.
No, it makes sense, yeah.
So one here, and then the overflow is upstairs. Identical room there for that. This here is our medical treatment room.
Yeah.
Usually there's a stretcher right there, but it's away getting fixed.
Okay.
Pretty much every day, we have at least one person come in to get a blood pressure check or the blood sugar
I
check.
didn't know you do things like that.
Yep. Usually we have usually it's 4 or 5 people a day that will come in, especially somebody who's just gotten onto a new blood pressure medicine.
Okay.
The doctor will say, go by the fire station, get your blood pressure checked every day, have them write them down for us, and then when you go back for your checkup, he can look at it and go, yeah, your blood pressure's been running low, we need to adjust your medicine. We have a nice card here that we hand out to everybody in one of these drawers, and we fill it out for them. I know, I don't know
Yeah,
what it
it's
is,
all right.
but,
Yeah, but this is neat.
yeah. And
It's a lot easier than going to the hospital.
yeah, plus, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And we do have people, when the stretcher's here, we have people come in all the time, just aren't feeling right and want to get checked up, and then we'll make an assessment whether we should take them to the hospital or not. Like say a new diabetic who's just gone on medicine and he's having trouble regulating his sugar versus his food, comes in here, we check his blood sugar for him, we write it down, we chart it for him.
Wow. I'm
yeah.
highly impressed. I had no idea you did that full service like
Yep,
that.
yep.
And there's always an EMT on.
Always, 24/7. The paramedic is
Paramedic,
24/7.
yeah.
This is our medical supplies for the stocking of the 4 ambulances right outside that door.
Wow.
It takes a lot to keep the 4 ambulances up
Yes.
because you never know what you're going to need in the ambulance because you never know what you're going to.
I didn't realize you had 4. Nice.
Yep. This is just the staff bathroom.
Okay. I'll have to tell you, my husband about 6 years ago, went to Mass General for really major surgery. It was like the end of the world to get there. And
Yeah.
I got out of that hospital at 6 o'clock in the morning knowing he was gonna be okay. And the best thing I ever saw was you pulling up there in the Oak Bluffs ambulance.
Yep.
Like the world hadn't ended. Oak Bluffs was still around.
Still around. So you see why I don't want to run it down there.
Oh, God,
Right.
you kill yourself. You don't try to make it.
So this is the upstairs bunk room. So this is for overflow, for big storms,
Okay,
hurricane. We have 3 more bunks up here. These bunks are identical. They can also be set up for double bunks if we need them to be, if we had to house more people. But
Yeah.
all 3 of these rooms are identical.
I mean, both is a misnomer. Those are nice bedrooms.
House laundry room, just for cleaning our linens and stuff that we need there.
Makes sense.
Janitor closet for upstairs.
Over here.
This was a nice added feature. Locker rooms, nice big shower.
Well, that is nice.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite features of the station. When people ask me, they're like, really? It's like, yeah.
Well, it makes sense, yeah.
Well, before we never had the ability to decon ourselves, so you go take care of somebody that had the neurovirus, and you'd come back to work, and you'd almost always get it. Now you come back, you take your clothes off in the decon room, you come upstairs, you decon yourself,
Yeah,
and hopefully you
that
don't
makes
get
sense.
it.
You don't
Right.
get it, no, it makes a lot of
Yep.
sense. How many paramedics do you have on staff?
We have 11 full-time paramedic firefighters. Little buffet, little style here, kitchen for the training room. Yep.
Okay, and this is your permanent.
And this is our training room.
This is nice.
Sits 40 people comfortably. We can put 50 in here, no problem. And it's state of the art. Everything is integrated through that screen. It's got a 3D projection screen, which is great. Another great feature is that mannequin over there for this training room. There's a computer in that back room. And that computer in the back room interlogs with that mannequin. So when I'm running training scenarios, I'm in the back room and I'm the mannequin with chest pain.
Wow.
And training the paramedics
Okay.
to make sure they ask the right questions, make sure they give the right medications, and if they don't, I adjust everything through in there and the patient can either crash or can get better. Yeah, that's a great training tool. We got that about 2 years ago now. It's really nice.
The electronics now look great.
Yeah, that's a touch screen TV. So it's great for doing fire when you go over a fire scene afterwards, because you can touch and you can put the screens, you can put the hydrants in the location. It's great for doing critiques of fires. This here is our emergency operations room.
Okay.
So this room is designed for, hopefully we never do, but if we ever get a big event, say a hurricane, all the disciplines will come up here and be in the emergency shelter. So police, fire, EMS, highway, board of health, chairman of board of selectmen will all be in this room, and all the phone lines will be transferred into this desk.
Okay.
So we'll all be at the table together making decisions on what's best for our community. And then once we make a decision here, if we decide that it's safe enough to send, say, the firemen to go take somebody out of a building or something, this is our own dispatch center here.
Oh, okay.
So we would be dispatching everything
From here.
from this room once we get this completed. So we would be able to communicate with all of the local agencies on the vineyard, and we'd be able to communicate with all of the disciplines, all firemen that we may need.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of interface with the other island towns, up island, down there. How
Oh,
much does
yes,
that
we
work
would,
out?
this room would be able to interface with everybody. Once we're finished with this, like say any off-island resources we may need, we would be able to interface with them from this room, contact them from this room, and dispatch anything from there. So we would be self-efficient in Oak Bluffs as far as dispatching and stuff goes. We wouldn't have to rely on the communication center.
I was wondering,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
not all the towns have the ability to do the kind of thing you do there.
Not yet, no.
No.
Nope. And this is just our telecom room. So in designing the station, we knew that we were gonna have this room. So we basically brought everything from downstairs up here. So now that the building's built, when we hopefully get the money to finish that room, we don't have to try to get everything back down to the basement.
Good.
Data, power, everything is brought right up into this room so that we can easily tie that room in and finish it. Restroom for the upstairs. Men's locker room here.
Same as the female.
Same as the other one, identical, yep.
That's perfect.
On that one.
Wow.
Here is just storage, a big storage closet for all the fire records.
Yeah.
Tank inspections, all of that stuff.
An elevator.
In an elevator. Expensive.
Elevators are outrageously expensive.
Yes,
The first thing I ever learned about them is I know.
they're
Yeah,
expensive to
they are
maintain
very
too.
expensive.
Yeah, they have to be all the way around, yeah.
Mhm.
You need one for handicap.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
The ADA compliant, we had to have it, so. All right, we'll do the apparatus phase.
Yeah, that's in here now.
So this is the ambulance side of the station. Our 4 ambulances are housed here. Right here is our 911 truck that just went out, and one of our transfer trucks already went to Boston.
Okay.
So that's where the other ones would be. This
What's
is
the
our,
difference between a transfer truck and a regular?
basically nothing, other than we leave one designated to 911, just because it's the oldest and it's the least amount of miles, and we basically
Yeah, they
to
just
put,
rotate
pack the
around.
miles on those.
Yeah.
This is our decon room. This is another great feature that we didn't have in the other station. So any soiled equipment, we wash, the wash down, that goes into a special containment housing outside. We have, this is a new feature, we have our turnout gear washer,
Ah,
which is nice.
what is this?
I don't know if you've been watching any of the stuff on the news, but they've been linking cancer to the firefighters' equipment because they go in the fire, they get contaminated with all of the arsenics and stuff that are in a fire.
Mhm.
They put it back on the truck, then they go use it for the next fire and they breathe it all in. So, this is, it's gonna be, hopefully after this April's town meeting, it's gonna be an SOP in the department that after every structure fire, anybody who goes in the building, they have to wash their gear before they can use it again.
Oh,
But,
wonderful, yeah.
yeah,
Makes sense.
that's if we get the money on the town floor to buy them a second set of gear, so then a set goes on the truck, the contaminated set goes in there to get cleaned, and the department's still in service.
I hope the town meeting you can explain things well enough to people.
Yeah, they're always great for us. I know people say. Our own oxygen generation system, so we don't have to pay for oxygen anymore. The compressor's downstairs. If you see there's a wall here, and that's not to separate fire from EMS. It's because the ambulances need to be kept at least 66 degrees, usually 68 degrees, because of all the medications in it. So you can't let them get too cold, and you can't let them get too hot. So that's why this is separated off. The fire trucks, we keep at 55 degrees, which is plenty, so it's more efficient. And then also this has a negative pressure, the big thing. And the purpose of that is to try to keep the contaminants out of the ambulances.
Okay, okay, right. Wow.
And this is our fire side,
Wow.
which is, it's phenomenal.
It is.
Each truck has its own bay now, we never had that before. There's plenty of room to walk around the trucks and check the gear, which we never had before. The exhaust system, the yellow pipe that you see hooked to the fire trucks, so that when the truck starts up, it doesn't contaminate the building with diesel fumes. It all goes out and then goes through that filter and goes out to the atmosphere.
We got your own sidewalk valve.
Yeah, that was, yeah, Bill. But yeah, 2 years ago when we had all that snow,
Yeah.
basically, if you can't figure something out, what do? You call the fire department.
Yes.
So when we had all that snow and there was tons of people that couldn't get Meals on Wheels, V&A couldn't get to their patients to
Yeah.
get the medications off, they called the fire department and we'd follow them around with the plow and plow out the driveway so they could get
That's
Meals on Wheels
fantastic.
there, they could get the medications there. We did all that stuff, so that's what we use that for.
Very impressive. Wow.
So I got to sign up for Meals on Wheels to get my
get your driveway
plowed?
plowed, basically. Yeah, don't put that out there, Bill. You edit that. The phone won't stop ringing.
That's right. I'm starving to death.
That's just unbelievably impressive.
Yeah, it is very impressive,
Came
John.
out really
It
nice.
turned out well. And it'll go for a long time. That's the fight we're having with people, understanding you've got to build for
The future.
the future.
Right.
And that's what we did. The basement here is,
Yeah.
if you ever need, because we talked about this in our building committee, but we can't build the new fire station for 2014. We have to build for what it could look like 20, 30 years from now.
Right.
And there's room for expansion. There's room in between the truck. There's room downstairs. There's even room upstairs. I mean, you know, to expand. No.
We're gonna keep growing and growing.
Yeah, what it is. No, I know when Nelson Hamill built the first station and it came out, he had no idea that fire and EMS was built like it is now. There was no way for him to. The population exploded and the responsibilities of fire and EMS exploded. So now you have to adapt to that. And yeah. Oh, yeah, we have the largest, the Woodside Village. We have almost every regional commit that the island has.
Yeah, it's
High
here.
school, YMCA.
And you have to give us our
Community
taxes, so
services,
you're talking to the choir here.
Right.
And it drives me nuts, people
Yeah.
don't understand it.
Yeah.
We're paying
Keep
for
talking
this.
though, because we want more of the choir to hear this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. I tell them in the meetings all the time about that.
It's the only way to go. It's, you know, and as I say, going to Boston and looking at the various ambulances, ours is A1, which you need to be.
Yeah.
We're a long way from good medical care.
Long way, yes.
And
Yep.
you need it.
Yeah, sure do.
And it's,
So, and this is, this is our dive bus.
okay,
We're the island's dive team, so we respond all over the island for any dive emergencies. That was donated to us by the VTA, these two
Okay.
buses here. This here is our rehab bus. There was a study done out of Seattle, Washington, the Seattle Fire Department. They're famous for doing all these studies, and
okay.
back about 10 years ago, they did this huge study on rehabbing firemen at the fire
I'm
scenes.
just getting out of you stay.
Yeah.
It's your picture, not mine.
And they saw a huge decrease in firefighter deaths due to cardiac stress by just making them go to rehab and take a break.
Oh, wow.
So once that study came out, we got into doing fire rehab when I was the chief of the ambulance, and we got a bus. Our old bus has been retired, and this one the VTA donated to us 2 years ago.
Nice.
But it's a huge benefit to firemen because firemen don't know when to say when. They don't know when enough is enough. So they go into the fire and they overexert themselves and they push themselves to the limit. And then all they want to do is go right back in. Well, now in our department, they can't. They have to go to rehab first.
Okay.
So before they used to hate to go to rehab. So now we make it so that they can't fight the fire anymore until they go to rehab.
When they- okay.
So they have to go in there and take a break. You give them a Gatorade the first time they're in to replace the electrolytes that they just used by fighting the fire. And the second time they go to rehab, you give them a water to hydrate them because they're losing hydration big time. And it helps the firefighter be able to do his job better because he's more hydrated, his electrolytes are replaced.
Yeah.
And it's safer for the fireman.
It's safe for everybody.
And this is the island-wide rehab bus as well.
Okay, so we have a lot of things that no one else really has, I assume.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Yeah, and, you know, the other group was asking if we ever get anything, if we charge or anything like that. And then in the fire service, that's just not something we do. You know, if
Yeah.
the town of Eggtown needs Oak Bluffs, we send them everything. That's what firemen do. And it's vice versa. If the town of Oak Bluffs needed help from Eggtown or Tisbury, like we did at the barn fire, they will send you anything and everything. And that's how we repay each other. It's not through finances, it's through manpower and assisting each other at big calls.
But the three big downtown are the big departments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
And so
Yeah.
the further up island you get, the
Yeah, there's less
There's less and
populated,
less,
less,
yes.
less calls. Oak Bluffs by far is the busiest town. It's the most active. It has the most calls. Fire, EMS. The only thing that we don't have as many calls as automatic fire alarms is Eggtown.
well, everybody has those.
Yeah, they have a lot of alarms down in Eggtown, but the other stuff we do.
My neighbors, some are people both sides of us have it. They go off all the time.
All the time,
It
yeah,
drives me
yeah.
nuts.
Yep.
They both have people who call me. You know where I supposed to know what's happening in their house.
Any questions?
I'm just curious. Most of the firemen, all the firemen, are volunteer. How does that work?
Yeah, we have 11 full-time firefighter paramedics.
Okay.
That do a rotating schedule, and that's why the station's manned 24/7. We have 52 volunteer firemen and volunteer EMTs.
Okay.
Yep, that work, that have other jobs, and then when the tone goes off through their pager, they come drop everything they're doing to come do whatever we ask them.
And they're all well-trained. You go through all the training
Yeah.
systems with them?
Yep. Yeah, every single fireman, unless they're a new recruit, has got the fire. We mandate them to go through the firefighter one. Training.
That's a special course?
A special course, yep.
I'm
And
just
that-
asking for him too.
Yeah. No, and that's why it's hard for us to do recruitment, because when I first became a fireman, it was a 30-hour course. Now it's a 180-hour course.
Got to find that time in a job.
Right. So you say to somebody, well, we really want you to volunteer for your community and be a fireman. Oh, by the way, for the next 6 months, you have to do every Tuesday night, every Thursday night, and every weekend.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot, and especially when a lot of people, to be able to make it on the vineyard, have either a second job or at least work Saturdays
Yeah.
to pay their mortgage. And now you're saying, well, can't work
Do
on
that,
Saturdays
yeah.
anymore. You got to take this training course.
Is that all on island, John?
Yes. Well, it was up until this year, and now we're struggling because the course that we used to teach on the island, the new fire marshal doesn't support. So we're trying to come up with an alternative with Barnstable County, because we can't send the guys all the way to Stowe, Mass.
Right.
So we're trying to come up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do they support it?
The new fire marshal, because he's trying to corral, I guess is the word, for his funding
Okay.
to because they built a brand new facility in Springfield, Mass.
Oh, it's a long way away.
So they're trying. So in order to keep a lot of the funding,
No, yeah,
You know.
we have the same problems
Yeah.
in here a lot.
Yeah.
It's tough.
yep. So
I don't
that's
understand that you can't do that in an island.
So you're gonna demonstrate the doors?
the what? The doors, the hurricane,
Yeah.
the hurricane
Hurricane
doors.
proof, right?
Yeah, yeah, those are heavy doors.
Yeah. I'm very impressed. You know, I was involved from day one with the
Yeah.
planning,
Yep.
but it is so nice to come through and see how well it came out.
Yeah,
It
it's
sure
And
did.
what a great product.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really is.
Yeah, we are so happy.
Yeah.
It's spectacular. And everything is kept perfectly.
Yeah.
Clean and
Yeah.
It shows all the pride in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, we have an amazing fire department. We do, the guys, and we're so lucky to have the ones
Right.
we have. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
You get a lot of young guys still?
Over the last year and a half, it's been our biggest recruitment. We've gotten 11 new recruits in a year and a half. As long as I've been around, that's never happened. So, and now we're trying to figure out a way to get those 11 new recruits trained, though.
That's right, yeah, that's
Right.
okay.
Because if I have to send them to the Barnstable Fire Academy, I'm going to have to figure out a way to pay for their boats, pay for their meals, and do something for them.
Yeah.
I can't say, go off island and do all this training to be a volunteer
money.
fireman, but it costs out. So we're juggling with all the island communities actually to try to figure out a way to train our new recruits. Yeah. Because 11 is that's a big number.
Big number.